Last night you dreamed. You probably don't remember most of it, but your brain was working harder while you slept than it does during most of your waking day. You've been told dreams are your brain sorting memories, or wishes leaking out, or nothing at all. But the real answer is far stranger. Your brain isn't resting when you dream, it's rehearsing. Every night for millions of years, your ancestors closed their eyes in a world full of predators, rivals, and danger, and their brains did something remarkable. They ran simulations. Neuroscientist Antti Revonsuo proposed something called the threat simulation theory. His idea was simple but unsettling. Dreams exist to practice fear. Your brain builds a virtual world, fills it with danger, and lets you rehearse escaping it, all without any real risk. Think about your last nightmare. Chased, falling, trapped. That's not random, that's training. Ravonzo studied thousands of dream reports across cultures, and he found the same pattern again and again. Threat-related dreams weren't rare glitches. They were the default setting. Here's the part that changes everything. The people who dreamed more intense threat scenarios on average handled real waking danger better. Their brains had already run the simulation. Your ancestors who dreamed of lions weren't just imagining lions, they were building faster reflexes for the real ones. But threat simulation is only half the story. Psychologist Ernest Hartman studied trauma survivors and noticed something odd. After a terrible event, dreams didn't just replay the trauma, they connected it to other emotional memories, weaving old fears and new ones into a single tangled web. Hartman called this the emotional integration function of dreaming. Your brain isn't just simulating threats. It's filing your fears into a system, connecting new pain to old pain, so your waking mind doesn't have to carry it alone. That's why a breakup can trigger a dream about being lost. Your brain is linking abandonment to abandonment, wiring the new wound to the old map. So why does it feel so strange? Why do dreams bend logic, skip scenes, put your childhood home next to your workplace? Because your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic and self-control, goes quiet during REM sleep. The part of your brain that says, wait, this doesn't make sense, simply isn't fully online. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the threat detection center, lights up. You get raw emotional simulation without a rational editor checking the plot for holes. It's not a malfunction, it's a design choice. Evolution didn't need your dreams to make sense. It needed them to make you feel the danger and remember how that felt. Here's where it gets even stranger. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker found that REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming happens, strips the emotional intensity from a memory while keeping the memory itself intact. You remember what happened? You just don't feel it as sharply. Walker calls this overnight therapy. Each night, your dreaming brain takes yesterday's pain and files it away, dulling the edge just enough so you can function tomorrow. That's why people who are deprived of REM sleep after a traumatic event show stronger, longer-lasting emotional reactions to that memory. Their brains never got the chance to process it. Your ancestors needed this. A hunter who watched a companion die needed to remember the danger without being frozen by grief every time he saw the same landscape. Dreaming let him carry the lesson without carrying the full weight of the pain. So every night, 3 things happen at once inside your skull. Your brain rehearses threats you haven't faced yet. It integrates new fears into old emotional maps. And it strips the sharp edges off yesterday's pain so you can move forward. None of that requires meaning. None of it requires symbolism. It requires survival. Think about the last dream that shook you, the one you couldn't shake off after waking. That wasn't your subconscious sending you a message. That was ancient machinery, older than language, older than fire, quietly rehearsing your survival while you lay still in the dark. You didn't choose to dream. Your ancestors' brains needed a way to prepare for danger, process pain, and file away fear without waking the body to face it. And that machinery is still running every single night inside you. Consider how strange it is that this system still runs, unchanged, in a world where you're far more likely to be late for a meeting than chased by a predator. You don't dream about spreadsheets and traffic the way you dream about falling, drowning, or being chased. Why not? Because evolution is slow, and your dreaming brain hasn't caught up to your calendar. It still runs the oldest software it has. Falling activates the same ancient alarm your ancestors felt losing their grip on a cliff edge. Being chased activates the same circuitry that once meant a predator was closing in. Your brain reaches for its oldest threat library because that library kept enough of your ancestors alive long enough to reproduce. This is why children report more animal-related nightmares than adults. Their threat simulation system is younger, closer to the code it was written from. As you age and new categories of danger appear, rejection, failure, loss of status, your dreaming brain slowly updates its library, but it never fully deletes the old files. That's why a nightmare about losing a job can still carry an inexplicable jolt of animal fear underneath it. There's another layer researchers have uncovered, and it involves connection as much as danger. Dreams don't just simulate threats and file away pain. They also rehearse your social world. You dream about people you know, conversations you never had, versions of your friends and family recombined into strange new scenes. Some researchers argue this is your brain testing social bonds the same way it tests physical danger, running scenarios of betrayal, loyalty, and belonging so you're better prepared for the real versions when they arrive. For a species that survived by cooperating in small, tightly bonded groups, a broken alliance could be as deadly as a predator. So your brain rehearses that too, every night, in scenes you rarely remember by morning. Put all of this together, and the picture that emerges is not a mind wandering aimlessly in sleep. It's a mind working overtime, running 3 ancient survival programs in parallel, rehearsing danger, reprocessing pain, testing bonds, all while your body lies still enough to recover the energy for tomorrow. You didn't choose to dream. Your ancestors' brains needed a way to prepare for danger, process pain, and test their bonds with the people around them, all without waking the body to face any of it directly. And that machinery is still running every single night inside you, largely unchanged since long before anyone alive today was born. You think you understand your dreams? But the real reason you dream isn't in the story your mind tells you while you sleep. It's in the 20,000 generations of ancestors who needed exactly this to survive until morning.